oh, here's the pump for this chapter. Here's the pump for that chapter. Here's the pump for this chapter.
Hello everyone and welcome to Off the Rails. This show is the equivalent of finding a golden scar in Fortnite, and that is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Me and my co-host here are going to be counting down the top 3 greatest Fortnite seasons in our personal opinions. Once again, personal opinions. Do not fight us in the comments, we will win, trust me. Alright, so what is your first, well, let's start with honorable mentions, okay? What is your honorable mention season for top 3?
I have 3 to tie with that. OG to play a little bit because I started at like the end of Season X. Chapter 2 Remix because it let me feel like my younger self again. What was it? Crap. It was the I had it in my mind. It was the Star Wars one.
Very nice choices. For my honorable mentions, I'm going to be going with the Simpsons season. That was a very nice shakeup of Fortnite. I'm going to go with the second Marvel season. It had the potential to be great, but I think they just kind of fumbled it in the end. And then for my final honorable mention, we're going to go with Wrecked. I know that might be a controversial one, but I think at the beginning of the season, it was a ton of fun.
It was a ton of fun if you had the mythic cars.
Yeah, exactly. So now let's get into our top 3. What do you got for your number 3?
My number 3. My number 3 has to be Chapter 2, Season 3.
Ooh, that was the flood season, right?
Yes, the flood season.
All right, tell me a little bit about that season.
So basically the entire map was underwater and there were sharks everywhere.
So the sharks had loot inside them, right? They were loot sharks.
The sharks did have loot inside them.
Those must have been cool.
Yeah, there was people were trying to find there was like a weird myth or something about there being, oh, Midas was still alive. There was a solid gold shark somewhere, like that gives mythic loot. I never found that. But there was the center of the map. It wasn't the agency anymore. It was the authority, where you could get the drum gun and the grappler, which had like infinite range. You could get the burst or the what is it? Refilling chug jug.
The ocean's bottomless.
Ocean's bottomless chug jug, which that was my personal favorite. Or you could get Kit, shockwave launcher, and the charged shotgun. Plus, I mean, it gave us one of the worst POIs, Fake Atlantis, Coral Castle.
Ugh.
But it was honestly better. Aquaman. I still use Kit to this day.
Yeah, Kit's adorable. So that Midas actually segues into my third pick, which is going to be Chapter 6, Season 2, Lawless. I think there were a ton of fun aspects, specifically the vaults. They had a timer on them along with thermite and a little boss fight to get into them.
What happened in Chapter 2? You had to fight a boss to just get the key card. So the mini boss fight is just another reskin.
Okay, well, there was also dill bits that you could use at black markets to get new exotics, which the exotics were a good shakeup. They were pretty fun.
They were fun. They were just a pain in the butt to get because they were hard to find the dill bits.
Okay, and then we have new collab items like Mortal Kombat with the Scorpion and Sub-Zero kits, along with other weapons such as the Clinger Launcher, the Kneecapper. And then probably one of my favorite parts of that season were the armored trucks that we could go and break into. So now we're going to go back to you for your number 2 pick. What do you got for number 2?
My number 2 pick is Chapter 2, Season 4. The OG Marvel season, the better of the two. Notable mythics, the Iron Man gauntlets and Unibeam, Doom gauntlets and the Mystical Bomb, Thor drop hammer, She-Hulk's fists, Venom's pool, like where he pulled people. There was Wolverine's claws, which the only thing I'm mad about that season was Wolverine was so hard to kill, I couldn't get that secret skin.
And then there were like Stark drop zones, right? With like little like Quinjets and like
Yeah, and
extra mythics.
that's how you got like the She-Hulk mythics, the Venom mythics, like
So it was
all
like
the
more of the like weaker ones.
yeah. Oh, you
Okay.
also got like Black Panther and Storm and Groot's Heal Ball and Silver Surfer's surfboard. Like there were so many mythics. It made it feel fun, but also like unique in its own way.
Okay, so for my number 2 pick, we're going to go with Chapter 4, Season 1. This is the dawn of chapter 4, with the space battle bus coming onto the island, along with a ton of ageless weapons, including the Excalibur, the hammers,
The
and
hammer was fun.
the hammers were so much fun. They
The
had four
hammers were
charges, and
fun.
the ageless one had a fifth charge that you could bounce around with. So the ageless now spawned in with his armor at the Citadel. He had an Excalibur rifle, which would explode on impact. It was kind of the dawn of explosive repeater rifles and stuff like that.
The storyline could have been so good with that one if they didn't get rid of the seven beforehand. If they kept the seven, it would have been so much cooler.
Because they're changing and they're coming back now in chapter 7.
Yeah.
So now we'll go into collabs for Chapter 4, Season 1. They had Doom Guy and Geralt, which were both fan favorites. And then they added Deku and the Deku Smash ability, which is essentially a reskinned Kamehameha.
Oh yeah, I remember the Deku. Yeah, I prefer the Kamehameha, but the Deku punch was fun because it like instant killed, but it would like destroy anything in its path.
And then one of the most exciting vehicles that were added were the dirt bikes.
I liked the dirt bikes originally, but then throughout the season they kind of made me like I just preferred the regular car at that point because I kept getting like sniped out of nowhere off the dirt bike or like lasered off the dirt bike, so I just used the car because it was more coverage.
So you kind of like the more protection. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. And then for like other weapons, like the Red Eye came, which was a fan favorite. Well, some like it, some not.
I don't really like
And then
them.
one of the most funny parts of the season were the recon drones, where you could pick up knocked players and fly them away.
Oh, the little owl things?
Yeah.
I forgot about those.
Yeah, those it was funny. Like you could just pick up another guy's teammate and fly him away.
I forgot you could pick up. I honestly forgot all about those because every time I tried using them, it glitched and I couldn't get out of the thing. I had to have a friend kill me.
Now the big question, number 1.
No,
All right.
this is the easiest number one of it all. Chapter 2, Season 2.
All right, let's talk a little bit about that season.
Just the best season. It was like so like because you had that feeling of the new map in Chapter 1, but then it also felt great. Like the intro felt great. To like the intro
The
cinematic
music was
felt
insane.
great. The music was insane. The choppers, the whole variety of mythics, the map changes that were there, like even the lobby changes that were there with the little hose at the end for the Doomsday event.
So let's
Uh,
talk. Let's do Battle Pass now. Like,
Battle
what was
Pass.
some of the icons of that season in the Battle Pass?
Maya, the fully customizable one.
Mm-hmm.
Big Boy Brutus. I call him Thick Boy Brutus. There's Midas, Kit, or not Kit, Meowscles. I mixed those two up. Sky, T and Tina. Oh yeah, and then Deadpool.
So what about some of the like loot pool changes?
Loot pool changes were fun because they added that was the first time I think they added the decoy grenades. So what they were was you got three in a stack, but you could throw them and they would make little NPCs of you that would like shoot at something. But anytime like you tried to hide in the bush, they would just stand around the bush and let you know, hey, he's over here. I mean, there was the mythic minigun, the drum gun, the mythic drum gun. There was the mythic AK, mythic scar, mythic grappler, mythic boom bow. They call it the pew pew rifle, but it's the reskin of an AK.
It's the pew pew in all of our
It's the
hearts.
pew pew in all of our hearts. I mean, it had the pump, it had the tech. Like, I don't like when when new chapters just make reskins of old weapons. Just keep the weapons everyone loves. So then you don't have to make, oh, here's the pump for this chapter. Here's the pump for that chapter. Here's the pump for this chapter. Oh, here's another shotgun. Here's another shotgun. We only needed 2, maybe 3 shotguns back then. It was simple, but made it fun.
And then tell me a little bit about the story that was going on.
Story was going on was there was basically spies everywhere, and you kind of had to pick which side you wanted. It was kind of like a war-ish, but not really much of a war. It was like a spy war, and they would fight each other, basically because they hated each other. Depending on what the majority of people picked, each of the NPCs changed and like switched sides, if you would say. Like they all originally started out as ghosts, but then all of them changed to shadow, but till the only one that was ghost left was Midas. And then he decided, oh, I'm gonna make a doomsday button to push back the storm and set everyone free. And then we got interested to my favorite character, Agent Jones.
All right, and then for my number one season, Chapter 3, Season 1, I might be a little biased because this is when I started playing, but you have to admit this was a very fun season.
It was a very fun season, but wasn't that also the season that had movable llamas? That one, I mean, I didn't like the movable llamas, but I did like the trees falling down. I loved Colombo.
Yeah, Colombo's insane. He's so cute.
The MK was good.
Hmm.
Um,
And then they added stuff like tents and locations like the sanctuary, which really opened up the story of the Seven. Like we had hints before, but this was really their emergence into the storyline. And then we have the IO with Covert Cavern. They were setting up base. We were really going uphill to that war season.
hmm
And then, of course, Spider-Man. We
I
had
knew you were gonna
we
say it. You
had the
Spider-Man shoe.
greatest we had the greatest movement in Fortnite that season. 80 shots of movement that is better than Marvel's own game. And then what was also introduced that season that was never introduced before was the weather effects. We had tornadoes and lightning storms. Do you remember those?
I remember those, but you want to know why they never put them back in?
Why?
Because no one really liked them.
I thought the tornadoes were interesting. I like the lightning too because it gave you the spicy effect.
The tornadoes were good, but the lightning was not good.
Yeah. And that Battle Pass season was also insane in introducing the foundation to loopers as a wearable skin with the rock obviously being underneath him. And isn't he the only Fortnite skin with like an extra bone in his face so he can do the eyebrow?
They didn't they didn't literally stick a bone, but they had to add like the physics of a
Hmm.
bone to do his
Well,
eyebrow
yeah,
thing.
yeah. And then one thing, last thing I wanted to talk to you about today was Chapter 7 and how Chapter 7 Season 1 could be an all-timer.
It could be if they do it right.
How would you do it right?
How would I do it right?
Yeah.
I would have made the cube cradle more of a threat than it is right now. Because when we first saw that image of something like that, it was bajillion of miles away in a portal, but yet it was bigger than the mothership that was closest to us.
Yeah, what about some of the gameplay? How would you make the gameplay perfect?
How would I make the gameplay perfect?
Hmm.
Since we have a zero shard, quote unquote shard, they should bring back the portals.
And then for me, I think Chapter 7 Season 1 is very strong right now. I think they have a ton of fun mythics, so like the DeLorean and wingsuits are a fun
Ron
way.
loves his DeLorean.
I love Back to the Future. It's such a good movie. And the way they implemented it is getting like an old Chapter 1 weapon is a genius, honestly. And for other mythics like the bosses, that is a new mechanic they're going around. They've ditched the medallions and given you new boss powers, which I think are good. They have like low gravity for Human Bill and like zero shard dashes for Hush. I think it's an interesting play for Fortnite.
It's a very interesting play, but I also think it's useless.
Useless.
I think it's one of the most stupidest things that they could have added. The reason what made Mythic bosses so good last time was you just got the weapons.
Hmm.
And then if you had the skin, you could do the random YouTube video, becoming a Mythic boss in Fortnite Battle Royale, and have your friends wear the little henchman suits and walk around with you.
Well, to end it off here, I think Fortnite should get more creative with their battle passes. Like we had Ghost and Shadow, and we had missions like in Marvel season, and now it's just you unlock them and you're done. I think there should be more expressive passes. Do you agree?
Yes, but I feel like they're trying to overdo it as of how the battle pass is formed. They should go back to the original way they had the battle pass of just leveling up, getting what you want, but you have to actually work to level up.
Hmm.
And make the game simpler.
And that is all the time we have. We're gonna make like the DeLorean. We are out of time, so we will see you in the next episode next week.
Bye.